Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown video for this week, as they have now canceled the 205 Live events for the time being. Birthdays for this week, November 20th. This video is for your November 22nd SmackDown. 20th birthdays, Rudy Charles, 1977. 21st birthdays, Brie Bella and Nikki Bella, 1983. 22nd birthdays, Elias turned 32 years old, while former WCW Tag Team Champion Laszlo Rowe turned 43. And former WWE, WCW, TNA personality Ed Pereira turned 53. A new WWE podcast for SmackDown Tag Team Champion The New Day is now official. Noted over the weekend, WWE recently filed to trademark The New Day, Fuel the Power, for podcast use, which began the speculation on a new show for Big E, Kobe Kingston, and injured star Xavier Woods. The podcast was confirmed during this week's After the Bell podcast with host Corey Graves. Feel the Power will premiere on Monday, December 2nd. Graves said the New Day will discuss anything and everything from inside and outside of the ring each week. He also indicated that New Day's podcast will likely come out after his own podcast drops each week. It looks to be the second podcast on the WWE official podcast network that has been planned. WWE also announced that Titus has landed the cover of the latest issue of Millennium magazine. The feature story on the WWE Raw superstar can be found. I did not get the link on that. I do apologize. Which focuses on Titus's life, experience, and how they drive him to give back to his community. But I'm pretty sure you can see the magazine itself to get the full story. The story highlights Titus and his Bullard Family Foundation's partnership with Hillsborough County Public Schools to build a prosperity campus at the Sly Middle Magnet School in Tampa, Florida. Titus shared the cover on Twitter and wrote, "Honored to grace the cover of this issue of Millennium Mag, thanks to at Inez NYC for the write-up, and to add cherries on top. You guys did an awesome story about one of my Bullard Family Foundation's gracious supporters and donors at SHR Tampa about their $300 million expansion as well. Red heart emoji, person with folded hands emoji." Triple H granted a wish earlier this week at WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, through the Dream Foundation. And as you hear in a tweet, Triple H met a fan named John and his father. He took to Twitter and commented on the visit. He wrote, "An absolute pleasure meeting John at WWE headquarters. Lifelong fan of our business. I was so glad I finally got a chance to meet him. Thank you to at Dream Found for helping us get the opportunity to meet." WWE 24/7 champion R-Truth has released the official lyric video at this link for his Run It single through his personal YouTube channel. The song features Leah, Carmella Vandal, and Jay Trix. This is the second song for R-Truth and Carmella after they've previously recorded Dance Break together earlier in the year. WWE has officially announced the New Day. I think I did that twice. Well, Vice's tech site, Motherboard, has a new article looking at how WWE posted a live in-house production feed from Saturday's WWE NXT UK tapings in Hull, England, at the Bonus Arena as unlisted video at this link of the official WWE YouTube channel. The feed came available to at least some fans after it was listed in a YouTube autoplay feed on Roku devices. The stream ran for 8 hours, including almost 150 minutes of a black screen, and featured the following: 35 minutes of rehearsals, full tapings of an NXT UK event. So if you watched it, you could hear the happenings. Off-air talk between announcer Tom Phillips and Nigel McGuinness, the announcers and ring announcer Andy Shepard recording some of their lines, plus every word said into the staffer's headset and earpieces by their backstage producer. WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels was among those who worked behind the scenes on the tapings. Vice noted how Shawn helped organize the brawl between Gallus and Imperium. Motherboard notes that the producer and the headsets addressed as John by the announcers sounds like John Brady, who was one of the indie wrestling promoters that WWE hired to help run the NXT UK brand and produce their programming. Rehearsal highlight reel screw-ups as example can be found at that link. WWE superstar Alicia Fox took to Instagram and revealed that she has been sober for a few months now after apparently receiving treatment for alcoholism. Fox noted that she is now interested in helping others live a clean and sober life by sharing her own experiences. The lengthy message from Fox, seeing this link, was posted with a new selfie photo. Fox posted the same photo in a new Instagram account located at Resilience Among Mankind. This account currently has just the one post, less than 100 followers as of this video, and following only 2 people, Russ Martin and Stephanie Behinda, a model. Fox's description on that account reads like this. Read like that. The new WWE Intercontinental title belt was revealed on SmackDown's episode. As seen at this link, Sami Zayn presented champion Shinsuke Nakamura with the new belt during an in-ring segment. Nakamura set to face U.S. champion AJ Styles at NXT North American and North American champion Roderick Strong in a non-title triple threat at Sunday's Survivor Series pay-per-view. And since there wasn't any dark matches posted prior to SmackDown or afterwards, I didn't find any, and there are no 205 Live. SmackDown opens up with a look at the Blue Brand superstars gathered around backstage for a meeting. SmackDown Tag Team Champions and New Day are doing limbo. Roman Reigns speaks from the front of the area and tells the roster they can't let what happened on Raw and WWE NXT happen tonight. He takes a shot at King Corbin, and everyone laughs. Reigns has the bay door open and says they're going to let everyone in tonight. I beat their butts when they come down. The argument picks up until Sasha Banks interrupts. She waits for no one but herself and is headed to the ring to take care of business right now. Banks walks through the crowd with other members of the Blue Brand women's division behind her. Carmella, Dana Brooke, Nikki Cross, and Lacey Evans. The others continue arguing, and we cut to a normal SmackDown intro video. Live from Allstate Arena near Chicago, Illinois. As power goes off, Michael Cole welcomes us. He's chimed in by the tattoo champion of the world, WWE style, Corey Graves at ringside. We go to the ring. Out first comes Sasha Banks. She has Lacey Evans, Carmella, Dana Brooke, and Nikki Cross with her as her backup. Banks takes the mic and says this is their show, and they won't be getting jumped from behind. She talks trash about what they did to WWE NXT superstars this past week. She knows Team Raw is in the building and calls them out for a fight. Team SmackDown waits in the ring with Charlotte until Charlotte's music plays. She comes out with Sarah Logan, Natalya, Women's Tag Team Champions, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Flair thanks the welcome wagon, but says Team Raw would have knocked down the door anyways. Team Raw stands on the apron, and Flair challenges Banks to a singles match. Team Raw enters ring, and Team SmackDown gets in their faces. Music hits, out comes Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, and Tegan Fox. Fans chant NXT as they stand at ringside. Ripley says Banks is wrong. NXT does have guts. Ripley proposes to be a captain versus captain match, now with her in it. NXT has been established for Survivor Series. Team NXT enters the ring as all 3 teams talk trash. Referee tries to separate them, but a brawl breaks out. Ripley, Charlotte versus Sasha was confirmed. Back for the break, match gets underway. Banks and Flair take out Ripley, but Banks ends up taking out by Flair boot. Ripley and Flair take out Banks, and they have words as they size each other up. Flair and Ripley go at it now, going to the mat. Other superstars from the other three teams watch at ringside. Also arguing with each other, Ripley fights Flair off and rams her into the corner with shoulder thrust. Ripley with a big kick to the face. Flair comes right back with a running boot to drop her for a pop. Ripley unloads, but Flair rocks her with a forearm. Flair rams Ripley back into the corner for a few more times, but hits the turnbuckles when Ripley moves. Banks comes back in and unloads with a backstabber. Banks takes out Flair and then mounts Ripley with strikes at her pin tip. Banks gets a pop after unloading. Ripley and Banks go at it now. Ripley with a big clothesline and then a drop kick after more back and forth action. Banks gets knocked out of the ring. Ripley follows and brings Banks back in, stopping to talk trash to Banks. His partners, Banks kicks Ripley in the face as she tries to come back in. Flair knocks Banks into Cross at ringside. Banks and Cross argue. Now as Team Raw laughs at them. Team NXT is also trying to get in the mix. Ripley and Banks go at it with strikes. Flair goes to the top and hits a big moonsault, taking the other two down in front of the announcers. We go back to commercial with Flair standing tall. Back to the right, Ripley drops both opponents and covers Flair for a close 2 count. Banks fights Ripley off from the corner, but Ripley drops her face first into the turnbuckle. Flair recovers from the outside as Ripley rocks Banks in the corner and climbs up. Banks sends her to the mat. Banks with a big meteor up on the top, but Flair breaks the pin up with a natural selection. Flair recovers, but Ripley breaks the pin up at 2. Ripley with a huge kick to Flair. Ripley tangles with Flair and misses a drop kick. Ripley avoids the natural selection. Ripley goes to the floor for a break as Banks rolls Flair for a close 2 count. Flair avoids the backstabber and gets a figure 4 applied on Banks. Ripley comes over and turns Flair's submission on Banks into a pinfall, getting the win. Winner of the match, Rhea Ripley. After the match, Ripley immediately goes to the floor to celebrate with her partners. Banks yells at Flair from behind. Flair turns around and they start brawling. Team Raw and Team SmackDown members hit the ring as Team NXT looks on from the stage. Laughing, Team SmackDown clears the ring, but Team Raw comes back for more as Team NXT looks on. Fans chant NXT as they take it all in. King Corbin's backstage with Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Corbin knocks Roman Reigns' idea of letting NXT superstars in the door tonight because of what just happened. Corbin goes on and talks about coming up with a plan for Team Raw and Team NXT when they try to crash the 6-man main event. Roll out of the ring and let them beat up Reigns and his partners. And then Corbin goes on until Sami Zayn approaches. Corbin thinks Sami is annoying. They have words and Sami calls Corbin to the ring for a fight right now. Sami's music hits and he heads to the ring before he could even finish the challenge to Corbin. Well, Sami is still not a wrestler since he's been coming to SmackDown, as he's only in Nakamura's corner. We go back to the ring. Out comes Sami to the stage. Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke was out next. They enter the ring together as we go back to commercial. Back to the right, Kayla Braxton's backstage with SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, asking about her big triple threat at Survivor Series and her opponents possibly appearing in tonight. Bayley says she is prepared. She goes on about how decorated she is. She says Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch knows better, but NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler might show up tonight. But if Bayley put it out there for her, if she shows up, Bayley is ready. She walks off. We go back to the ring. Sami takes a mic. He says it looks like King Corbin isn't coming out because he's afraid of Sami and Nakamura. Sami goes on about people being afraid and says you can't call him annoying. In fact, if there was one word to use to describe him, it would be stud. Sami says for the big stud he is, Nakamura is even studlier. Sami goes on praising Nakamura and says he's got him a present for being so studly the past few months. Sami reveals what's in his bag, and it's the new WWE Intercontinental title belt that I showed you earlier in the link, which was your spoiler to this video. Sami takes out the old title, the white one, and presents Nakamura with the new one, black belt. The new belt is much different from the classic look and can be seen in that link from earlier. Sami goes on about how this guarantees Nakamura will win over NXT North American Champion Roderick Strong and WWE US Champion AJ Styles at Survivor Series on Sunday. The music interrupts and they knock Strong, and out comes Undisputed Era, Strong, NXT Champion Adam Cole, and the NXT Tag Team Champions Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. They hit the ring, the fans chant, Undisputed now. Zayn tries to get Nakamura to leave the ring, and he does, but he takes his time. Cole introduces his team and says they're going to wipe the floor with Team Raw and Team SmackDown on Sunday after winning War Games on Saturday. Music interrupts, out comes SmackDown Tag Team Champions Big E and Kofi Kingston of the New Day. They have an offer to settle what was started last week. Undisputed Era wonders if this will be a handicap match, but it won't. Big E introduces heavy machinery, and out comes Tucker and Otis for the match. We go to commercial as the two sides face off. New Day and Heavy Machinery versus Undisputed Era. 4 versus 3. Or all the Undisputed Era. All 4 members. Back to the ring, Big E goes at it with Roddy Strong. Kyle O'Reilly tries to distract from the apron, but Big E gets beat down in the corner. O'Reilly and Bobby Fish with quick tags to keep Big E down. Now, Big E ends up unloading on Fish and O'Reilly with big throws. Big E keeps control and takes out Strong and O'Reilly on the floor. Cole comes in and attacks Kofi, but Kofi fights him off. Cole and Kofi trade strikes in the middle of the ring. Cole with a knee to the gut. Strong tags in. Kofi super kicks Cole to the mat. Strong comes from behind. Nails a big backbreaker off on Kofi. Strong stomps away on Kofi while he's down. Strong and O'Reilly double team Kofi. In the corner now, Fish tags in and the champions double suplex Kofi for a 2 count. Fish goes to work on Kofi against the ropes. Fish launches himself in from the apron, smashing Kofi for another 2 count. Cole tags in and unloads on Kofi in the corner. Cole nails a neck breaker. Cole drags Kofi into the corner and holds him down while Strong comes in and decks him. Strong with a back and neck submission in the middle of the ring. Kofi fights out and rolls Strong up for a 2 count. Strong drops Kofi with a basement drop kick. Strong brings Kofi back to the corner, and O'Reilly tags in to work him over. O'Reilly drives knees to keep Kofi down. Strong tags back in and takes Kofi to the mat. They tangle, but Strong keeps control. Kofi fights up and out, kicking Strong with a kick to the face. Kofi goes to the top, but Strong cuts him off. Strong climbs up for a superplex, but Kofi knocks him to the mat. Kofi goes to leap, but Strong drop kicks him off the top onto Tucker on the floor. This leads to Big E and Otis having words at ringside. There's also some shoving. Tucker tries to separate Big E and Otis as we go to commercial. Back for the break, Fish and Kofi has Kofi down on the mat. Fish with cheap shot to Big E. Kofi comes off the top with a big missile drop kick. Fans rally for Kofi. Otis runs in, as do Strong and O'Reilly. He runs him over and decks Cole on the apron. Otis runs wild on everyone and pancakes Strong into the mat. No pun on that. As the New Days give it, they throw pancakes to the fans. O'Reilly goes for Otis, but Otis eats a big kick. O'Reilly with more strikes, but Otis headbutts him. Otis launches him across the ring and smashes Cole and O'Reilly in the corner. They both fall, and Otis gets a pop for what he sees ahead. Otis calls for the Caterpillar, but Cole is pulled to safety by O'Reilly. Pulls him completely out of the ring and is closer to the ropes anyways. This all leads to Tucker slamming O'Reilly for a close 2 count. Tucker and Strong go at it. Tucker counters and hits a big splash in the corner. Tucker with a side stab to Strong for another 2 count. Tucker goes to the top and actually hits a huge moonsault, but Cole breaks it up. The pin on Strong. Everyone gets involved now as chaos breaks out. Fish and O'Reilly take out Big E on one side of the floor. Kofi runs over and takes out him with a double team. Tucker levels Cole in the ring and sends Strong to the floor. Otis catches O'Reilly in midair and slams him in the ring. Otis with a Caterpillar on O'Reilly. Fish kicks Otis. Cole super kicks Tucker. Strong with a running knee to Tucker for the pin and wins in the middle of the chaos. Winner of the match, Undisputed Era. After the match, the stable of NXT champions stand tall as the music plays. They stand over Tucker and raise the NXT titles in the air. Undisputed Era continues their celebration. Strong exits the ring and meets Sami Zayn and WWE Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke on stage. U.S. Champion AJ Styles suddenly flies over and decks them both. Styles, Strong, and Nakamura brawl on the stage and the ramp. Sami will steal chair shots to Strong and Styles, knocking AJ over to the side of the stage. Undisputed Era runs up to make the save as Sami and Nakamura retreat to the back. Now to go over the Survivor Series card. Still to come segment, big 6-man main event. We see Daniel Bryan walking backstage. He summoned the Universal Champion Bray Wyatt to the ring. But, of course, he doesn't show up yet. Cole wonders who will show up. Michael Cole, that is. Wyatt or The Fiend. Back to commercial. Back for the break. OC is on the stage. U.S. Champion AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson is yelling at the crowd over what just happened. AJ goes on knocking Chicago and says the OC isn't leaving. Fan chant for CM Punk. AJ says he would mop the floor with Punk and Chicago needs mopping up. Gallows and Anderson also talk trash to the crowd. AJ goes on with the trash talking until the music hits and out comes Daniel Bryan to the ring. Bryan marches to the ring, passing by the OC as they look on from the side of the stage. Bryan hits the ring and poses as the fans pop for him. Bryan takes the mic and fans chant for him. Bryan says people want to know why he would want to summon Bray Wyatt. Here's why. He shows us a video package with recent footage of his run-ins with The Fiend. Bryan says he didn't come out to play around or with puppets. He came out to summon Wyatt. Bryan goes on about not knowing what goes on in Wyatt's head and calls him out to talk before their title match on Sunday at Survivor Series. They can get to know each other or reminisce about the past. But if that doesn't sound good, they can fight. Bryan goes on ranting at Wyatt until the lights go out. The lights come back on. No one's there. Fans boo. Bryan takes a mic and accuses Wyatt of disappointing the people and playing mind games. He calls Wyatt to come fight. Music hits, out comes The Miz. Bryan says if there's one thing worse than The Fiend, it's The Miz. Bryan asks what the heck Miz is doing out here. Miz enters the ring with a mic and says Bryan's behavior is making it clear he's not professional. Unlike Miz, Miz goes on about how Bryan disrespected him on his own show, Miz TV last week. Bryan doesn't care because he doesn't respect Miz and doesn't like him. Miz yells back and says the feelings are mutual. He's in Bryan's face now, nose to nose, yelling about how he can't wait to see The Fiend rip him apart next week so he can get his matches with The Fiend. Miz goes on about trying to be there for Bryan since day one and maybe talk some sense into him. But that hasn't worked, so maybe we'll just try this. Miz slaps Bryan in the face. Go to commercial. Daniel Bryan versus Miz. Back to the break. Miz unloads with the yes kicks, but one is caught and Miz gets slapped. They go out and come back in with Daniel Bryan working Miz over. They go at it again and run the ropes with Miz dropping Bryan with a knee to the gut. Miz with a kick to the face for a 2 count. Miz wastes some time after another shot to the face. Miz with a running boot to the head now. Miz with another running boot to the head for a 2 count. Miz keeps Bryan grounded with a headlock. Bryan fights back with a kicks and chops. Bryan with a running shot to the corner now. Fans pop for him. Miz comes right out and drops Bryan from the corner. Miz comes off the top rope, but Bryan catches the arm and tries to take him down with a lapel lock. They tangle and Miz nails a big right hand. They run the ropes again and Bryan drops Miz with a flying elbow. Bryan goes to the top, but Miz crotches him. Miz goes for a superplex, but it's blocked a few times. Bryan headbutts Miz to the mat. Bryan with a missile drop kick and a kip up for a big pop. Bryan with the S kick to the chest. Bryan drops Miz with a final kick. Bryan looks at the Miz, his own fingers, and starts to hulk up. Bryan goes to start an actual yes chant, but the lights start going down. Lights are all the way out now. Red light comes back on over the arena. Universal Champion, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt sitting down in the corner. Bryan stares at him. They go at each other for a fight. And right as Wyatt applies the mandible claw, the lights go dark. Flashing on Judge Wyatt and Bryan in the middle of the ring. No red. Wyatt laughs away as he takes Bryan down with a mandible claw and keeps him there. We'll cut to commercial. As Miz is nowhere to be seen. Back for the break. Announcers plugged in Bryan versus Wyatt at Survivor Series on Sunday. We go to the ring. Out comes NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler. Cole brings up how SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley took shots at Baszler earlier. Baszler takes a mic and says she heard Bayley talk about how she keeps attacking from behind. She says Bayley must not be getting the message because here she is in Bayley's ring, calling her out. Baszler drops the mic and waits for a fight. Bayley suddenly attacks Baszler from behind and takes the knee out. Bayley unloads, but Baszler finally fights back. Bayley tries to retreat through the crowd, but Baszler comes from behind with a curve feeder clutch. Bayley rams her back into the post and then the barrier. Bayley goes down and launches Baszler throat first to the top of the barrier. Bayley drops Baszler again. at ringside makes her exit to the stage. Baszler gets back to her feet and stares Bayley down. Looking pissed, Bayley runs to the back as Baszler fumes. And now to send us to a match flow replay from Progressive Insurance, featuring highlights from last week's tag team match with Shorty G and Mustafa Ali defeating Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Mustafa Ali, Roman Reigns and Shorty G versus King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Your 6-man main event. Hometown star Mustafa Ali was out first. Shorty G was out next, followed by Roman Reigns for the biggest pop of the evening. Greg Hamilton does the ring introductions. They head to the ring. Looks like Roman Reigns' entrance pyro was botched as he finally had to lead the other two to the ring. They hit the ring together, and the stage pyro finally went off as Cole sent us back to commercial. Back to the break, we see Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode at ringside wrapping up their entrance. King Corbin was out last, by himself, carried to the ring by crew members with the throne and platform once again. Reigns stares him down and talks trash. Bell rings and Reigns rocks all three opponents, including the starter, Roode. Reigns with a big drive-by to Corbin on the floor. Roode charges, but Reigns rocks him on the floor. Ziggler attacks Reigns from behind. Corbin gets involved and sends Reigns into the barrier. Roode goes back to the floor and rams Reigns into the apron. Roode brings it back in the ring and stomps on Reigns. Ziggler comes in, but Reigns ends up fighting him off. Roode charges, but Reigns nails a Samoan drop. G tags in and goes at it with Ziggler. G unloads with the Northern Light suplex for a 2 count. G and Ziggler tangle some more. G gets it sent to the apron. Corbin and Roode team up to launch G from the apron onto the announce table. Hitting the monitors on the way to the floor. Reigns and Ali check on G while he's down on the ground in pain. Back to commercial. Well, if you don't remember, Ziggler is a wrestler from college as well, as they were doing mat-style wrestling. Back for the break, Ziggler almost puts Reigns away with a big DDT. Ziggler ends up cranking up for the super kick, but Reigns does the Superman punch instead. Corbin and Ali tag in and go at it for a pop. Ali unloads. Corbin misses a splash in the corner. Ali then kicks him. He plants Corbin face first. Ziggler attacks from behind, but Ali nails a spin kick to his jaw. Ali runs the ropes and hits a big dive, sending Ziggler into the announce table. Ali runs back in and out the other side, taking Corbin down on the floor for a pop. Ali brings Corbin in the ring, but Corbin misses a choke slam. Ali with an elbow to the jaw. Big tornado DDT from the corner. Ali goes to the top without trying for a pin. Roode crosses him. G takes Roode off the apron. Roode with a big spine bunch on the floor to G. Reigns levels Roode at ringside. Ziggler super kicks Reigns on the floor. Ali and Corbin go at it again in the ring. Corbin catches Ali with a deep 6 out of nowhere for the pin to win in the middle of the ring. So Corbin, Roode, and Ziggler win the match. After the match, Corbin takes a scepter as his music hits. He tries to use it on Ali, but Reigns makes a save with a big spear. Seth Rollins' music suddenly hits to a pop. Reigns stands tall in the ring. Corbin rolls out. Ali is still down. Rollins finally appears in the crowd with several Raw superstars. Raw Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders, Street Profits, and Ricochet. Kirk Hollins, Zack Ryder, and the OC. Others. Reigns is left alone in the ring. No backup from SmackDown superstars. Rollins enters the ring and stares at Reigns. They have some words. Rollins suddenly decks Reigns and they brawl. Raw superstars enters the ringside area and attacks Ali. G, Ziggler, Roode, and Corbin at ringside. The music hits, out comes Braun Strowman. He starts running over Team Raw superstars. All around the ring, his victory lap, shoulder blocks. Heath Slater, rival Otis Tucker, Jake Maverick, and several other SmackDown superstars are with him. Large groups of Team Raw and Team SmackDown brawl in and out of the ring. Fan check for NXT now. Braun with a big power slam on Drew McIntyre. The camera cuts backstage to a group of NXT superstars riding the DX Jeep from their infamous WCW invasion. NXT music hits as Triple H, Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels, and Road Dogg BG James appear on the stage. They're leading a large group of NXT superstars. They all rush the ring as all three brands are going at it now. The WWE UK champion, Walter, is with Team NXT. Bodies are all everywhere as the three rosters brawl over the arena. Keith Lee with a big spirit bomb to Montez Ford. In the ring, they are the only ones in there. Braun meets Lee in the ring as the fans pop. Slater runs in, but Lee levels him. Braun takes out NXT Superstar. And NXT Superstar. Didn't get to see who it was. Braun and Lee meet in the middle of the ring. They start fighting each other off. The ring begins to fill up with superstars again. SmackDown goes off the air as the ring fills up with superstars again. There is no more 205 Live episodes airing on the WWE Network anymore, as WWE announced that there will be no 205 Live episode from the Allstate Arena near Chicago after SmackDown goes off the air. Encore airing of this week's NXT episode will air instead. The scheduled airing of 205 Live will not take place. Tune in to WWE Network right after hashtag SmackDown for an encore position of at WWE NXT. As they tweeted, the ball began after Team Raw Superstars and Team Raw SmackDown Superstars began brawling following the six-man main event. We saw King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode defeat Roman Reigns, Shorty G, and hometown star Mustafa Ali, who took the pin from Corbin. Fans chanted for NXT during the big brawl, and that's when WWE Hall of Famers Triple H, Road Dogg, B.G. James, Shawn Michaels appeared with a large group of NXT superstars. Riding the classic DX Jeep that was used in infamous WCW invasion from April 1998 in Norfolk, Virginia. Michael Triple H and Road Dogg then appeared live on the stage in the Allstate Arena, leading the roster of NXT superstars in the battle. The three rosters brawled for a few minutes in and out of the ring until SmackDown went off the air, following Keith Lee versus Braun Strowman showdown. The ring began to fill up with the superstars to end the show. After SmackDown went off the air, there was a mini DX reunion with Michaels, Triple H, and Road Dogg. They tried to get Corbin to join the group. He fell for it, then got punched by Road Dogg. Took sweet chin music from Michaels and hit a pedigree by Triple H. That was the end of the tapings. And that was not shown on TV, by the way. And here's what happens from the main event episode from SmackDown at this link. Thanks to WWE, Ali is picking up the pace in this huge six-man tag team match main event on hashtag SmackDown. The Deep Six from Corbin wins for Team SmackDown at this link. Team hashtag WWE Raw is forming the ring. Hashtag SmackDown. Hashtag WWE Rollins at this link. At WWE on Twitter. Here comes the SmackDown locker room at this link. That concludes my video for SmackDown this week. Thanks again. Peace out. See you all over here. If you don't know, brothers and sisters, just call me. Ooh.